And we are officially live. Welcome to the Uncensored Entrepreneurs. Today, we're going to be talking about what to do when your business starts to slow down. I'm sure that's something we can all agree with. Catch you on the flip. Woo!
I love our intro.
Me too.
You know,
It makes me feel more powerful than I think I am.
I think it helps that we're beautiful people to begin with. So that's just a good start. And then, of course, the music.
Ooh, what a week. What a week. Let me just tell you.
I'll tell you.
Oh, my God. And without me breaking down in front of all y'all. Oh, I said y'all. I think that was the first time. I think it's because I'm dating a country boy and his accent is like getting on me.
I mean, tell us, Tina, before we get into the meat, just kind of clear that, right? It's good. Our audience needs to know that this is real stuff that we deal with on a regular basis.
You know, we are real, raw, and unplugged, and
Right.
A lot of you guys have reached out. So I wanted to thank you guys for the flowers, the gifts, the cards, Starbucks. Like I got Starbucks this morning. Well, you don't know all the people who have sent it to me, but thank you. I appreciate you. But a lot of you guys know that. Look, I'm about to cry.
We got your back. We got your back.
My little dog, Chloe Chanel, has been suffering like heart problems for the last like 2.5 years. She had a heart murmur. And 2 days ago, she went peacefully in her sleep. I found her in the middle of the morning and completely like broke down. But she was 15 and she was only like 6 pounds, but she was like my shadow, you know, like she went everywhere with me. I couldn't pee. Like she had to be with me like 24/7, but her anxiety was just so much. And so it was too much for her and her little heart just gave out on her. And it was like devastating to me because I've had her. And I know she's just a dog and everybody's like, oh my God, she's just a dog. And I'm like,
It's family. It's family.
It really is.
It's family.
It is like family. And she was like the last of my family, you know, like all my kids have gone. And so anyways, thank you guys so much. It has been a week and you know what, you know, and I'm glad we're doing this show. What do you do when your business slows down? Because you know what, my business is sucky right now. Real raw and unplugged. And I told you guys that I was going to be
she went right to it. There was no like working up to it.
Like
Just,
I'm not
No sugarcoating. Zero.
I'm like not sugarcoating this anymore because I have reached out to a few people, or you know, a few people have reached out to me too, and we've talked about this, and a lot of people are going through this, and a lot of people have the down, you know, spiraling, you know, things. So when she passed, I felt like, oh my God, why is God doing this to me? My business sucks, and this sucks, and this sucks, and all I got is my boyfriend. But I mean, and then to top it all off, he comes up every week to see me, right? This is the only week in 4 months that he said, let's skip a week so we can, you know, he had things to do, I had things to do. And I'm like, you know what, no problem. And this is the week that she chooses. Yeah. So now he was like really upset, poor guy, but he was there for me, you know, long distance wise. And so anyways.
She just gave you some space to grieve this week, right? Like
it really did.
It takes a
lot.
lot.
Tell me that I have a really ugly cry. Like I ugly cried one time in front of him and he goes, oh, babe. I don't think you should.
She's like, I'm rethinking this relationship. No, just kidding.
I don't think you should ugly cry like that anymore.
Oh, it breaks his heart probably. And just Tina, for the record, when my first fur baby passed away, she passed away unexpectedly at 3.5 years. I didn't work for a month. Like I couldn't work for a month. I like couldn't get out of bed. Like it triggered PTSD. I couldn't do anything. But that was also something that I really value in business, is that we have this schedule that when things happen, when people are sick, when people die, we have this space that we can give ourselves to do the proper grieving, to go spend time with the people that we love, to, to be able to heal through that process. Because so often people don't have that time and they just have to bury those feelings, right? So Tina, we honor that, and I'm so
I
sorry.
probably wouldn't even gotten
Yep.
dressed or
So-
put makeup on. So thank you guys.
So for all those that are watching and watching the replay later as well with us, just big virtual hugs for you,
Yeah.
Tina.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's the thing, like any type of trauma, grieving, just in general, we all have stories, right? That we've been through, each and every one of us, and they come in all different shapes and sizes. And so, it isn't just a matter of, like you said, some people say, oh, it's just a dog. It has nothing to do with that at all. For some people, grieving can be like when we talk about the monetary side of life and business, it can be the loss of $20. I know that sounds crazy, but for some people it is. It can be for others, that breaking point is like, I just lost $20,000 or whatever it may be. And so there's this big variance. The fact of the matter is, it's an emotion. We honor it, and we're here for you. So
I gotta keep my fan on so I just don't cry no more.
And
so there we go. We got some thank you, Donna, giving some hugs back. We do appreciate that. Absolutely.
And it's times like this too. I created this little TikTok thing for her, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, this is so sad, this is so sad." But I also wanted to show people that she was just like this energetic little ball of sunshine.
That's
and
it.
I feel like, and I know everybody says this too, but I feel like she had like her own personality. Like I think she really thought she was a human. Like she really thought she was a human.
Well,
like,
of course, because we know you spoiled her. I mean, come on.
like she wore dresses. She
Yeah.
had nails done. I mean, her name was Chloe Chanel. Come on now. But like even last week, Paco sent me some Chick-fil-A, and she loves Chick-fil-A organic chicken nuggets. And so he didn't send her any chicken nuggets. And so I'm like, look, and she goes,
She knew.
and she like rolled her
eyes, some of them.
Paco, come on.
Well, yeah, Tina said that her dog passed away, and I felt so terrible. And I told her, my dog is very ill. He's like 14, he may be 15. He passed away yesterday.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. And so I was like,
I know, she just told me, and I was just like, oh my God.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
I know, it's so weird. Like Tina told me that, and then my boys and my husband are not taking it well at all.
I'm sorry to hear that as well, Star. I mean, and here's like the reality. I don't want this to be, I mean, obviously these are real feelings. I don't want this to be like our segue into the topic.
I know, I feel bad.
But yeah, it is. It's like,
it's life though.
But here's the thing, like that is one of the biggest ingredients. One of the things we'll be talking about today is just the fact that like what to do when business slows down. And it's interesting that you're bringing this up, because we could all relate to the fact that usually when something is happening in your life, doesn't it seem like there's just like this stack up of tragedy? I know people.
That's what I thought earlier this week. Like I'm like, God hates me. And they're like, Tina, don't say that. I'm like, yeah, he's putting all these things. I feel like I can't take anymore.
It's these challenges though. And it's interesting that as an entrepreneur, I can testify to the fact, myself, and then obviously the journey of some of my clients and colleagues and JV partners like yourselves, that, this is absolutely the ingredient that makes us who we are. I mean, it doesn't dismiss the fact that all of this stuff is still painful, but somehow, some way, like when these things happen, it equips us to be able to, have more empathy towards others, to be able to help others through whatever it may be. I mean, Star, like you said, you and Tina both just like kind of piggybacked on this situation. And, but business is the same exact way. And I have found that, a lot of people are struggling. And I think it's because technology changes rapidly. The economy changes rapidly. And then that breaks down mindset. All of these things break down mindset, and people start to put the halt on things. I've had some deals in the last couple months that were big deals. I mean, what I call, more of my high ticket clients, people that are willing to spend $15,000-$20,000, and they put the brakes on it, and they're like, oh,
Yep.
I was all ready, but things are a little crazy right now, or whatever it may be. This happened, that happened. I got to replace a roof. My car just, broke down on me. And then they start to kind of shift gears. And so we'll be addressing that today. I'm sure people that are tuning in can relate to this.
When all those things start to happen, they start to roll over on you, and you're thinking that it's oh my gosh, what is going on? Somebody told me, Tina, when everything starts to fall apart, it's right when you're about to go through your breakthrough.
Yes.
And believe me, I know, because I'm in that situation right now. I'm like, really? Like,
it's hard to believe it, like how am I gonna have a breakthrough when my life is just falling apart? Everything that can happen is happening back to back.
Wow, that is so true. That is so true. And why do 93%, I know that's such a big number, but 93% of people that just get into business, usually quit within the first 3 years. And it's because of exactly what you just stated, Star. They're right there. They're like at the 11th hour. They're almost at breakthrough. And all of these tragedies, all of these no's, all of these hurdles, whatever it may be, it just puts them into this mindset that I've got to pull the plug. I've got to stop. But we know.
Or I'm not made. Yeah.
Right.
Or I'm not made for this.
What am I doing wrong? Why is it me? Is it me? Do they not like me? You start going into that imposter syndrome, and then your mindset starts going, and the enemy starts to attack you and starts giving you all these things to think. And as I'm sitting there bawling my eyes out, like I have her little toy, like smelling it, the enemy's like, you're not good enough, stay in bed, and he's attacking you during all of these things.
It really is,
you're
Tina,
on the verge of something big.
It really is about perspective, right? Like it's about having that perspective, because that does usually come in waves, right? Like right before you're about to do something fantastic. And also you get the most resistance when you're doing big things, right? Like when you're doing things that are not popular, when you're doing them first, you get all of this resistance. And so whenever I have that come down on me, I'm like, man, God's just really challenging me to see if I'm ready for the next step, right? Like he's really giving me this issue that I can work through to show him that he can trust me with this, that the next thing is going to be, I'm worthy of the next step. I'm worthy of helping people at that level. And it's so hard to see when you're in that perspective, because you're like, why is this happening? And I went through a huge shift, and I think you guys have probably been through this, right? Where you start off in one business and maybe you evolve and you grow, and then you move into a different direction. Robert, not a lot of people out there are charging $15,000 to $25,000 for personal coaching, right? Like it's a different level of human that you have to go through. And in that process, a lot of the times you have to leave people behind, because you're growing at a rate that attracts the right quality of person. But if you continue to try and bring people uphill that aren't ready to go, that aren't ready to do the work themselves, then it actually keeps you at the same level, right? So it's putting in the time now and realizing this is just the mountain I have to climb today to get to where I want to be. It's not that everything's going wrong. It's not that I'm not cut out for this. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not good enough. It's none of those things. It's that, am I ready for the next challenge? And as an entrepreneur, I see life as a challenge, and that we're just constantly climbing that mountain. And it's like, what are you willing to take on today to get to that next level?
Wow. That is
so Christina, true. When you're going through that type of stuff, and when that person is in that kind of mentality, and I'm saying because I'm there, what kind of advice do you give them? Or actually, what book do you recommend?
Well, The Obstacle is the Way. I think I've brought up that book before, but here's the thing is, like, really when it comes down to clients and people that I love, it's listening first. Like, where are you at? How do you feel right now? Okay, look, it might feel like all of these things are happening to you. Like I shed a huge group of people in my life to move forward to a higher level. And I remember going, my friend Jenny Potter, right? And so I went to Jenny Potter and I was just like, I feel like I am alone in this journey. Like how many of you guys have felt alone in your journey? Like I'm the only one going through this, right? And I'm just like, why is this happening to me? Like I have to lose all of these people. Like, is it really worth it? Right. And so everybody's situation is different in that. And Jenny would say to me, why are you expecting health food at McDonald's? Like, Why are you, like,
Yeah.
why is your perspective this when you want
Yes.
this? And so often we'll get caught up in our own mindset that we're spiraling down. Why is this happening to me? This is going wrong. This is going wrong. This is going wrong. Okay, what's going right? What could be
Mm,
going right now? And how can we adapt that right to the audience out there and what they're experiencing? Because like Robert said, technology and life is changing very, very rapidly out there for different people. And it changes every 3 to 6 months. So what
yes.
can we do to adapt to that? If they can't pay the 15 or 25,000 right now because people are having a tough go because their mortgage keeps going up
Mhm.
$500 every quarter, then
Right.
what can we offer people that is still going to help them, still going to impact them, but maybe isn't that 15 or $25,000 price,
That's
right?
it. That's exactly it. And I was thinking a lot about this, what all of you are talking about in regards to think back, when Tina, when things were like the best in your business, right before that, think about like right before things were at their peak, you had to get really uncomfortable, right? So you had to you had to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And then when we hit the peak, we sometimes fall into this little rut, like, and it's a good rut where things are just going well, right? But we become too comfortable. And
Yes.
so now here you are again at that same thing. And it's about changing those things up, trying something new, conquering fear in a big way. Because I don't know about all of you, but when things are going well, I'm always thinking about all these things like, oh man, I write down actually items of fear. So when I'm like, oh, I've got to learn a little bit more about AI, I've got to learn a little bit more about this, I have to learn a little bit more about how to create this course in this software or whatever it may be. And as I'm kind of navigating through that, when things get slow, I start to now go back to the basics and I'm starting to conquer fear. And sometimes you just have to do that, right? You have to kind of step backwards and suffer a little bit along the way again, where you're not making as much money as you were, so that you can finally hit those peaks.
Yeah.
And I like
And,
that you said that.
talking about Jenny Potter too, I had to go through with her earlier last year, I worked with her for about 6 months. And she really helped me release a lot of the trauma that I had, a lot of past
Yeah.
trauma, a lot of forgiveness that I needed to forgive, because you really can't move forward unless you get rid of all of that baggage that you are carrying around.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
it's because subconsciously you're hanging on to it, right? Like 5% of what we do is conscious mind.
Yeah.
5%.
Only
So you're working against, so you're working against that
mm,
95% of life experience or generations passed down or mindset issues that that you've been gifted by other people that surrounded
mhm.
you, right?
Well, thank
And
you
so
so much for all of this toxic trauma you're giving
all
me.
the baggage, right? Thanks for all the baggage
You
that
are
I got to work
welcome.
through now, so that now I can raise, a great kid who doesn't have the same baggage that I do, so she can go be a millionaire by 25. Like,
Right?
because think about what you would have accomplished by now if you didn't have any of that baggage. And so
Mm,
I like to bring awareness to that, because often we can think that this circumstance, if business is slow, the circumstance is our fault, and like, oh, it's happening to us. Well, no, it's happening everywhere. So what are you going to do about it, right? Like, it's up to you. If you're an entrepreneur, how are you going to problem solve this? Or how are you going to get around people that are winning right now, right? Like, when I knew that there was going to be a massive recession, like one that I've never seen in my lifetime, I paid the most for mentorship with 2 people that I was like, I need to know what you're doing right now to be
so
scaling to $100 million. Like, what are you doing that is different from everybody else? Because everyone else is talking about, oh, sales are slow. This, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to be
right,
around that energy. I want to be over here with the people that are crushing it.
Yeah.
right. So true. Someone actually responded to my post today about the show, about this topic, and they said, what do you do? They said, double down. I mean, and
Yes.
that is so true. There's so many times in life where I actually spend more for help, technology, mentorship, coaching, whatever it may be, in those moments where I'm actually making less. I know that sounds crazy, but it does two things. One, it provides you the help and the leverage that you need anyways to kind of get through this time, maybe some new perspectives. But the other thing is too, that sometimes when you when you pay to play, it makes you ramp up. It's just psychologically, it makes your mindset say, okay, now I've got to really take this serious. Like, I have to do some new things. I have to get uncomfortable again. I maybe have to work some extra hours, whatever it may be. And I'm going to throw out one book thing so that you guys can throw out. Usually Christina beats me to the books. I read this book years ago and I kind of dismissed it. Like, there's some really good things but I never really took it as serious until now. I'm rereading the 5 a.m. Club. Are you guys familiar with that concept?
Yes.
I have
So
that.
the whole Robin Sharma
Yes.
5 a.m. Club, and it really does make sense, right? Because I'm always telling myself I don't have enough time. I'm so busy. How can I put more together? And then I start realizing, what am I doing like in those earlier hours before the kids are up, before life gets crazy, before I'm
You're just
whatever.
trying to get 3 hours of sleep, Robert. It's
Well,
okay.
you know what? I can,
I'm trying to sleep more.
I function on 6 hours anyway. So,
Oh
and
my
if
God,
I have
I
to,
cannot function on 6 hours.
and if I have to, I'll take that 15-minute nap in the middle of the day. But anyways, but yeah, absolutely. And so I started to kind of rethink that. And just from that, just that in itself, even if I'm sucking at the commitment of every day getting up at that time, it still allowed me to kind of change direction. I pivoted a little bit, just enough to kind of, get those creative juices going again.
Star, what do you think about businesses slowing down right now?
Well, I like Robert's point where he was saying that he kind of writes down things when things are good, because I was guilty of that, where I was succeeding in the online space, everything was good, I was excited, I was happy, and I didn't really think about, okay, well, what if something changes? What's your pivot going to be? What are you going to do? And in fact, the market has changed for all of us.
Absolutely.
So in my case, what I did was I tried to diversify my offerings. I included software that I sell now. So you really want to start thinking about what are things that you can offer that are not necessarily high ticket, because I was selling I've always been one to sell a combination of low ticket and high ticket. But I know most of the coaches that I've hired, they really love high ticket. So now you see a lot of people doing both. So that's one thing that, you can actually consider as well. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that, is really just diversifying what your offerings are. And if you do have to pivot, and some people, maybe they do have to go back to work, but I also see a lot of people falling out and not doing their entrepreneurship journey anymore. And I think that's the wrong thing to do, because this recession that we're in is not going to last forever, right? So you have to just kind of go through it. And for me, I did feel a little bit of uneasiness that, okay, I was selling a lot of high ticket and I'm not now. And it did mess with my mindset.
Right.
Yeah. So for me, I kind of got I felt like it was information overload, and I kind of unplugged from my mentorships. And I was like, do I want to do this? Is this something I want to be working on? And now it's like, oh no, Star, you need to plug back into your mentorships that you're actually paying for, and just go all in and figure out, what are some other ways that you can continue to grow.
It's just the season, right? I mean, that's what it is. You just got to kind of roll with the seasons. I mean, look at Christina, right? She's sitting out in the sun, sunbathing during our show.
And let's not get it twisted now. She was sitting right there by the lake, and she's like, I'm not going to let you guys see how I really am, because I just gave you guys like an hour of my time, and I'm just going to be out here just letting you guys see my face really quick.
Yeah, you missed it actually. Right before we went live, she had a pool boy come over, give her a sandwich and drink. And,
the pineapple,
like,
and he had abs and everything.
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing, you guys. You create your reality. So whatever you want it to be, make it happen, right? And this is separating season. We are in separating season, right? Things get hard, people quit. We are entrepreneurs. We dig in. This is when we dig in. And I think that right now, especially in August, what's everybody doing in August? They're enjoying their last 2 weeks of summer before their kids are going to school. They're at the lake. I'm on holiday, right? But guess what? I'm also digging in, and I'm offering more value, a higher service, giving to those people that really, truly want results over the next 90 days that are going to kickstart their 2024. I'm offering that to people that are movers and shakers, and I'm giving them I'm over delivering on value so that we get results in the next 3 months while everyone else is sleeping and catching up on school. And guess what's going to happen right by Black Friday, right by Christmas, right into January? I'm creating the momentum now in August for that, whereas most people are sleeping. And so if you are the one that actually digs in and does the work right now, and it continues to connect, continues to plant seeds, people might not be ready right now. They're like, oh, I'm at the lake and this, but they'll have you in the back of your mind. Well, everybody else is on holidays. You're going to be the person that they're thinking of. You're going to be the person, wow, she's really dedicated to helping people, or he's really dedicated to his craft and to really serving at a higher level, right? I don't want people to quit in this season. It could be really easy to do so and go back to what's easy. right? Like
Yeah.
it's so easy to just go back to what's easy. But in this time, if you dig in and do the work, you will have exponential growth when the spring comes, right?
Mm.
Because you didn't tune out.
Yeah.
That,
I think
that's
about
so,
2008 when all the real estate went downhill. And, that
Yeah.
was like when all the real estate agents were like either making it or breaking it.
right.
And now the ones that went through that recession back then are multimillionaires now. Now they're like selling high-end real estate. Now they're selling like these luxury homes.
There's a season for everything.
Yeah, because
Yes.
they stuck with
You're
it.
talking my language now, right? Like
Yeah.
if you want to live that life, you have to operate in that rhythm. There's
Oh.
no like there, right? That energy
So glad
level.
you
Like you
mentioned that.
have to be giving that way, because if you don't, it's just like everybody else. And so right now, you look at social media too, and like we do this every week. It is a free value for people to hop in here because we love what we do and we want to give the gift of belief and discipline and strength for those of you that truly want this life, right?
Mhm.
That may be feeling a bit disheartened, that may be feeling a bit down. Say, hey, we're going through that too, but we're just
Yes.
reinventing ourselves over and over and over again and finding the people that we can help that may be less right now, that may be completely different audience than you had before, but we're willing to do the work because we know what we have to offer.
Yes.
And when
Yes.
you do that, you're seeing all of these highlight reels on social media. All these people living the luxury life at Disney World with their family, on these yachts, on the lake, on the beach house,
Lambo life.
right?
Lambo life.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And when I started this show, this is what I wanted. I wanted that real, raw, and I mean everything unplugged.
Yes.
And that was one of the questions I asked you guys is, are you willing to be authentic and be out there? And last week when we talked about, and last week I was moving from North Carolina back down to Georgia, half my stuff, and my poor boyfriend, he did not complain, not one time. He helped me the entire time. It was amazing. Afterwards, he was like, "Oh my God, the next time we do this, it's gonna be to our house together." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
But this is what we were going to talk about last week because I wanted to be a part of this conversation. And so I'm so glad that it's all kind of happened together because we all need it. And for those of you guys watching who think that we all live in this highlight life and we've gone through it. I'm going through it. We're all going through it. We're all, pivoting. And I know that's a word that has been way overused in the last 4 years, but we have to pivot. We have to pivot every single quarter and you have to end up doing that. And if you don't, you're going to miss out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And also,
I feel
it's really important to figure out what skill set you can develop. If you're currently doing something and it's not working, number one, learn new strategies, hire a coach, find, like Christina said, she's working with people who are succeeding during this time. But can you think about something that you can develop a skill around that's worth a specific amount of money? So for me, I'm starting to dabble with Facebook ads right now. That's a skill set that I can use to add more income to my business. I can charge clients. I can do done for you services. I can actually teach them how to do Facebook ads. That's worth it to my retail business. I can run ads for my own business. Getting a certification in Facebook ads is good, right? It's beneficial. So what can you do right now to learn a new skill set that is valuable?
Yeah. That is so true. And to kind of go back to my plug for the 5 a.m. Club book, Robin Sharma.
I hope you're getting
I'm getting some royalties off of this one.
My Amazon influencer storefront links.
It just happens to be this happens to be my latest book. But no, one of the things again, and these are all basic things, right? But it helps kind of remind you of the basics. And this whole just finding 1 hour a day, or you can double down and find 2 hours in a day. But in that early morning, the 20-20-20 rule, I love that. So 20 minutes mindset, just focus on self. 20 minutes of mindset changes everything. It changes the entire course of what your day is going to look like. And then of course, I probably can't even remember what 20 minutes of exercise and 20 minutes of education. And so with what you just said, Star, like learning a new skill set or whatever it may be. And so how many of us, and I'm going to raise my hand, I hope all of you do as well, how many of us in these moments where we have a gap of time, where we sit there, I have all intentions to reply to a client or respond to somebody, whatever it is. And so you do it. And then all of a sudden there's that little pop-up, right? That little reel that somebody made, or, whatever it may be, somebody that you're following, some content. And then you go from that to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, right? And you start scrolling, and you find that like you spent an hour just scrolling through social media throughout the day, when that can be like some major, that in itself, that extra hour can actually help you during these times that your business is slow, right? It helps you pivot and a few other things.
And one of the things that is good about an iPhone, I don't know about Android, but on iPhone, it tells you how many hours you have spent on social media.
Wow.
Yeah, I definitely get caught up in that.
I avoid that,
Robert.
You spent 400
don't look, right?
Yeah.
I go through the same thing though on social media. Like, it's so distracting. And I also understand that there are two species on this planet that are addicted to screens, and it's ants and humans. Okay. And so we have this predisposition to be addicted to this. And so you really have to learn this discipline when you work on social media. Like, it is definitely a blessing and a curse. You can spend way too much time scrolling. I have done that before. I do it probably once a week, that I'm catch myself and I'm like, how did that happen? I was just drinking my coffee and now it's been an hour, right? Whereas if you have the intention of waking up and doing 20-20-20, even if you don't do it at 5 a.m. and you do it at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., then it's okay too, right?
9 a.m. because, some people can't get out of bed before 9.
Yeah. How many can relate to Tony's post there? 20 minutes of exercise is hard, Robert. Yeah. I'm with you, Tony.
What kind of exercise you're doing? Because, some exercise is good exercise.
I'm with you, brother. So, you know what? Sometimes you break it into 4 sets of 5 minutes. How does that work?
Right. Oh, and I purchased a standing desk, because for those of you who know and don't know, I have a fractured tailbone. So I have to stand up sometimes. And so I got a walking pad underneath my desk. Well, it's in my bedroom now, but I get on the walking pad, and I can flip on Netflix and watch a movie or talk on the phone or do whatever on my walking pad as I'm walking and talking at the same time. Hopefully I don't fall.
Yeah. And that little education piece, like throughout my day, sometimes I like to get on other podcasts, obviously, and I support, other JV partners. So I listen to some of their content throughout the day, and for inspiration and a lot of other things. And during that time, I'll walk. If it's nice outside, I will walk with my,
Is that why you're always out of breath when I'm on the phone with you?
Yeah, that's for probably for a lot of reasons. Probably because I need to do more than 20 minutes of exercise a day. But anyways, we won't go down there. One of the things I don't want to dismiss, and I'll give a little shout out to Michelle. Hello, Michelle. I'm so glad you could join us. And by the way, Michelle's journey. Yeah, Michelle's journey as an entrepreneur. Talk about doing so many things that are selfless. She will travel at her own expense around the world to help, preach, to give sermons, to give support, all different kinds of things.
Wow.
And in many times it's blind faith, because she'll go there with the expectation that, that she's getting reimbursed for some of these things. And she's been to so many places that do not reimburse her. So mission work is huge. So shout out. But what I wanted to mention, even with all of us and Michelle in this case, another thing that can help you in your business when it starts to slow down is just more collaboration, right? More JV partnerships. Like how can we work together?
It's funny that you say that, because when somebody posted on or commented on your post the other day about competition.
Yes.
And it's not about competition. Join them.
That's it. There is no competition.
Yes.
There's only one Tina Torres, right? So
why are and we collaborate all the time. And it's not like you have something that I don't have or anything like that. Collaboration is key. So there's no competitors out there if you just learn how to do it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And really,
and I think, go ahead, Star.
Sorry. Really thinking about, if you're serving a specific niche or audience, is there any other type of individuals that you can serve that you're not currently serving with your existing offers? So I was selling products to retail people. What I did was I developed a program for hair salon owners or hairstylists where I'd give them a specific discount and even custom private packaging. And then they can buy the products and resell to their clients, and my business catapulted. Instead of me saying, okay, I'm going to put hair stylists in my store.
Mm-hmm.
No, come on in. That way, you can sell it private label and do what you want to do. And I was able to grow my business. That's why I ended up putting a lash studio and not hairstylists in my salon, because I didn't want to compete with the people that were either referring their clients to me, or selling my product to their clients under white label.
Wow,
So,
that's so true. And was there fear attached to that, Star? I mean, every time we do something a little bit different, there's just that little part.
I'm always kind of like leery, like, oh, now I'm selling my products for less. I'm going to bring in less money, but actually, no, like it brought in a lot more sales and
Awesome.
it definitely benefited. So the same with coaching, like, is there a different audience that you can serve and sell your current offers to? So like with my software, I sell that to coaches, but I can also sell that to beauty professionals, right?
Yes. I love that. And that's actually something I would love to piggyback on, because I think that in this time, really what it comes down to when it gets slow is you need to expose your business to more people and find different audiences, because you're just going to have less. It is a numbers game, my friends, no matter how you swing it, right? It's a numbers game of how many people you can get in front of, how many people you can serve, how you can pivot your offer to a different demographic that needs it, or get creative, because I think of your business, Star, and like it will probably work for other businesses, not just in the beauty space, but if you actually used your system, it would work in other businesses too. So what other businesses out there could use this system and white label it and purchase it from you, and you get this residual income?
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm really leaning into, and I'm planning on building huge, because I have a big goal. Okay, I'm going to put it out there because it's going to scare the shit out of me, and then I'm going to be accountable. But I made a goal because monetary stuff doesn't really excite me anymore. So I made a goal that I want to be on the Joe Rogan podcast in the next 2 years. So I am currently focusing on extending.
I have an in for you, because I know him, and I got my clients on his podcast. I got 2 of my clients on his podcast.
See, you just have to speak it into existence. That's all it was.
Stop it! It's so crazy. So like, isn't that insane that I've been manifesting this, I've been thinking about it, and now I have a strategy, because I'm getting connected with people that can not only affect my audience and who will really speak to my audience, but who I can get into their audiences. And I was always so like a bit nervous. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you guys that we all have imposter syndrome at some point. I'm who's going to want to talk to me about what I'm doing, right? And when I realized that if my story suits their mission, if I can craft a story that is in alignment with what they want, of course they're going to want me. I just booked a couple of huge podcasts that I'm so excited to share. I'm not going to mention them yet, but I'm so excited to share. And I was like, if Robert Kennedy Jr., I just want to put this out there. This was my aha moment. If Robert Kennedy Jr. after 6 weeks can be 49% vote in that party because of podcasts where the media is absolutely annihilating him, where they're not letting him speak, where they're not doing debates, but he's gaining popularity on podcasts, does that not tell you the popularity and the opportunity with podcasts right now? Because people are sick and tired of media painting a picture, and what they want is real, raw, and unplugged. They want who you are at your essence. Tina, I can't freaking believe that.
Yeah, see, that's it. I love
that. I was like, oh,
yeah. I love this right here. It says, I don't agree with keeping your goals quiet. And that's so true. Like, as an entrepreneur, we already feel like we're sometimes on an island by ourselves, right? I mean, we don't go into big corporate America per se, and we're not, sitting around the coffee pot or whatever, talking to 20 people about how our day's going. A lot of times it's just streamlined. We're sitting here.
You're by yourself most of the time.
By ourselves most of the time, whatever it may be.
By yourself.
So I love that. It holds you accountable, as you stated. And then it even does even more, right? It amplifies the fact that there are connections. There are people that can actually align you with your goals. Wow, what a big transition. What to do when your business slows down? Maybe just ask for the business, right? Ask for the
we talked about collaboration. Talk to somebody else who has your audience members and say, listen, I would love to collaborate with you. I would love to give you a percentage of my whatever if you get me in front of your audience. I've told that to Christina. She's, she puts you down. She put me in there and put me in front of a podcast, got me on the podcast and put me in front of her audience. And it's just, hey, I'll give you a piece of my commission. I'll give you an affiliate. I'll do whatever it takes to get into a different audience.
So true. By the way, my coach, one of the sessions we had the other day, they know that for the longest time, I had just a really strong referral network, right? I was invited to be on stages. I would get some results from just those stages, whatever it may be, or people would just send somebody my way. And again, I fell into my own little comfort zone of having those connections. And so when things started to slow down for me a few months ago, they said, I know this is going to sound really complicated, but you're going to have to start making some more phone calls. And it was like that simple, right? Sometimes you just need to reach out and ask for business.
Yeah.
And I know that seems uncomfortable because I'm not, for me, I like it to come
Oh
natural.
my God,
I
I
like
hate
the
cold
natural flow.
calling. I
You
hate
just
cold
sometimes have to
calling.
do it though, right?
But you know what? It's so much easier just to lay in bed and flip Netflix, put Netflix on, and just like say, you know what? F it.
Mhm.
Well, and the other thing too is I find right now, because technology is changing so quickly, we like the last couple of years, people are like, I just want to make my life easier. I want to automate. I want to automate everything. I want to have auto response. I have auto sender. I've got chat bots and all that kind of stuff working. And as much as that is helpful, right now, that's not what's going on in the marketplace. Right now, you've got to be valuable to people. You've got to build relationships with them. You've got to show them why they should trust you and why they should buy from you and why you're going to give them a result and not just
And I
put them
have the
through a
perfect
funnel.
book.
Beyond gratitude. No, that's true. Relationships over transactions, right?
Yes.
I always talk about that, as simple as it sounds. It's definitely the basic.
And
But,
Picking up the phone, just picking up the phone and calling people.
yes,
Building
yes.
relationships is key right now.
Oh,
and audience building. Go ahead, Robert.
no, go ahead. What'd you say, Star? Go ahead with that.
Audience building. So many people have an audience and they're just like, oh, I'm constantly selling to the same people. No, you have to
That's
continue
it.
to grow your audience, build an audience. Either you're adding new people in the same niche or you're expanding that niche, and then you're forming connections with those people that come into your space through content.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's so true.
Love that term.
And with
Conversational
what you're all saying, like Christina, when you just said to pick up the phone, right? All right, there's a little disclaimer I'm going to have on the show today. Do not, I don't care what your current coach says, or what program you've bought into, or what book you're reading.
If it's us four, do exactly what we tell you.
Do not inbox somebody or connect with somebody and immediately pitch them on a product or service. I know this happens to all of you. We get inundated, probably 20 a day, come into my inbox, my DM, and say, I've got the best thing in the world for you.
Hey, I haven't heard from you in 10 years, but how are you doing? I have this new opportunity. I thought you would be great at it. And I'm like, delete block.
And what's the craziest thing? Like, build that relationship and that rapport. You can tell that they know nothing about you. First of all, they didn't even go in and like look at my profile or look at anything, because they're trying to sell me a service that I probably already sell for 10x what they're trying to, trying to offer me. But just build that relationship, and then I think that things will go far.
I got to tell you this story because it'll land in what we're talking about right now. I was bullied from like grade 2 until I graduated, because that's a bit different. I'm a bit outspoken, if you haven't noticed. And so I was bullied through school. I know, it's so weird, right? And so, I 2 years after high school, I got a message from a girl on social media that used to really bully me. Like, she was horrible to me, and she messaged me on social media, and she goes, Christina, I've been thinking about you. I'd really like to send you something. Can you please give me your address? And I was like, fuck, fine, excuse me. I was like, she's finally sending me
Uncensored.
an apology. Right, sorry, uncensored. But she's like, oh, she finally
Christina she couldn't use.
I'm sorry, you can beep it out if we put it on a podcast, okay? You can beep it out.
No, go with it. Go with it. We already know you want to be on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah,
so
you're
whatever
gonna
you
get
want to say.
prepared for his podcast. So use all the F words you want.
But I was like, fine, okay, finally, she is going to apologize for being such a douche, right? I got a network marketing package in the mail. I got a package for her company in the mail with like all the info, and like I'm like, are you?
She probably has no idea at all whatsoever what she did to you. Like, no idea whatsoever, because I have a person in my social media that did the same thing, and her and I have spoken, and she was like, oh, I didn't think I was like that to you. And I'm like, what? Like, they have no idea. So she probably is oblivious of all the stuff that she has ever done to you, and just thinks that you guys are homegirls. She's like, oh, that's my homie.
But here's the thing, like, every one of us will support a small business owner, right? Every one of us will support an entrepreneur with their products, their services,
100%.
whatever it may be. And yet but build a relationship, right? Build a relationship. Let's talk about some things. Let's talk about some strategy or whatever. Tell me a little bit more about why you even got into your business. And then I'm probably more inclined to buy your product or service, to try it out. But don't just hard pitch me and just throw something at me and pretend like, you know, like we know each other. I mean, it's pretty crazy, right? It's like, and I hate using this analogy because I try not to put down any of our fan base that's balding, but it's like selling a brush to a bald guy, right? So it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
However,
but there's so
if
many
that
of you
bald
doing
guy
that.
loves the crap out of you, he will buy 10. Let me just tell you.
If it's a great brush, I'll buy it and I'll give it to somebody else.
Right,
Absolutely.
because it's not what you're selling; it's who you are that people are buying. And if you're very,
right.
like I was about to say, uplifting, if you're very authentic and who you are, people are going to buy whatever you sell.
I like what Michelle said here. I'd like to expand on that a little bit. Walk into the power of forgiveness. Woo. Sometimes when our business slows down, a lot happens, right? We talked about mindset. We talked about this tragedy of like stack up of issues happening. What's another thing that happens? I don't know about you, but when my business slows down, I immediately my mind wants to point it, you know, in directions of people that maybe owe me money, people that did wrong,
oh my God, yes.
And so walking in this power of forgiveness, it's a hard thing to do, but
and let it go.
It gives you an opportunity to grow, right? It gives you that moment because you can go back and be like, this is where it went wrong, or this is where it went wrong. And as a human being, we constantly are looking at the negative. Like that's what our mind does to keep us safe, right? But when we take those experiences and realize we've lost a relationship or we've had a conversation that didn't go over well. I had one of those conversations this week that I was like, oh, I didn't handle that the way that I should have. And so I actually took the time to go back to her and say, hey, I would like to open this conversation again because I'd like to, you know, I really think that we both can learn something from this. Are you open to having the conversation with me? So you can also take the downtime to heal some of that stuff, to have bigger conversations with people that maybe you weren't seeing eye to eye on, or to go back at something, reevaluate the outcome of that. And what was the positive you got out of that when there was something big negative? You know, what did you learn from that experience last time this happened? Or what did you learn in the last few months that, hey, that's not really working. So what could I be doing better right now? You know, we all know that. What are 2 things you need to start, 2 things you need to stop, 2 things you need to continue? And if you can constantly evaluate yourself that way, it might be people in your life. It might be relationships that you need to move forward. Like, how can you get in front of people that raise your vibe? How can you spend more time with people that make you feel good and help you learn and help you grow and inspire you? Like, what are you doing proactively to put yourself in a position to win every day? Or are you just sitting there and being like, the economy sucks. You know, it's August, nobody's paying attention, and you're giving yourself all these excuses.
You know, the past stuff, instead of looking forward. And just like she said, you know, the power is in forgiveness. You know, you have to not forget, but you have to forgive and move on. And that is so important. And that is exactly what Jenny Potter helped me do. She helped me relieve trauma from a lot of people, not just a few people, from a lot of people that I had. Like, even she was telling me things, I was like, what? She was like, yeah, we got to get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. You know, she does.
It's so interesting what happens. We should have her on as a guest too, by the way. We should have her on as a guest.
Jenny,
self-sabotage, no more. You know her.
Red hair?
No, blonde.
No, blonde.
Oh, okay. All right.
She's the author of Self-Sabotage.
Oh, Jenny from the Block? Yeah, I know Jenny.
Not Jenny from the Block.
Not
Jenny
the Puerto Rican Jenny.
Yeah, that's but yeah, I agree. We do need to have some more guests on, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. And that's something pretty enlightening too for people, because a lot of the times they carry baggage from like generations. Believe it or not, you've got stuff that's been piled on you or cast upon you, or energies that maybe are not serving you. And, you know, there are multiple ways to go after that. You know, like some people heal through emotion code like Jenny does. Some people heal through counseling. Some people heal through mentorship. Some people go into like a 30-day meditation camp and don't talk to anybody. Like you have to figure out what it is that works for you to move through this. No, me neither. But I think
that'd be horrible
for you. Right? Because not everybody is the same, and not everybody heals the same way. Not everybody grows the same way. And so we'll give you guys suggestions and books to read and all that kind of stuff. But it really comes down to knowing yourself, knowing your positives, knowing the negatives, knowing your habits, and being around people that will call you on that, right? Like if Tina, you're having a bad day and you get in my inbox, I'm gonna be like, hey girl, tell me more. Like have a little vent, and then like let's talk about the solutions instead of being stuck in this, right? And if you have good friends that can do that, accountability, right? If you have accountability partners or people in your life that will hold you accountable, like that's why I married my husband, because he's like the nicest guy in the world, but he calls me on my stuff, you know? And if you have people like that in your life, you're able to move through things quicker if you trust them and love them than if you had to try to process that yourself. Like I would be talking about the same stuff that pissed me off for months if I didn't have somebody that could help me work through it.
And it's good to have that too. And for the last 4 years, I have like said, okay, you're negative, you're out. You're the positive person. Okay.
Yes.
And I have weeded out all of these people, you know, and I'm very, very tight knit with my immediate circle, because you don't want to tell people too much, right? Like I'll go and call Star, and I'll go and call Robert and be like,
Right. Yeah.
And, you know, Paco does that for me all the time. And that is a new thing for me. Like people have not, like people have not been there for like many, many years in that negativity space. So you saying that you have that person and that, you know, your spouse, but not everybody has that kind of thing either. Not everybody has that supportive spouse. And let me just tell you, every time you shake your head, you remind me of Pebbles when you're
Bam Bam.
Like when your little bun just goes like this.
Yeah, so true.
I'm bringing joy.
I did want to say, perfect segue, by the way. We've been talking about it for a little while in regards, because of some demand and people that we've had conversations with about starting a mastermind, right? To actually take this group, the Uncensored Entrepreneurs, and move it more into a forum where you actually can sit around and we can actually brainstorm about some of these topics, where you can actually be on screen, you can talk about it a little bit, we can break things down. And so look forward to that really soon. We're looking for all those that are kind of hopping in and out. I see a lot of other entrepreneurs and coaches that kind of come and go because of whatever their day or their schedule is. So those that come on, even replay later, we're looking for people to collaborate with. We're always looking for more JV partnerships to see how we can align with one another, how we can help one another out in business. And that's really what it's all about. This, again, you're not on an island by yourself, regardless of the situation, regardless of where you're at currently in your business. And so please, I mean, reach out to us. And again, we're always looking for more topics to throw out to the audience as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We have about like 8 minutes left. So I would like to kind of like go round robin. You know how I'm like a time stickler. We gotta wrap this up. Okay, so Star, I'm gonna start with you. What are a couple of things, or what's one tip that you would give somebody if they said, my business is completely slowed down right now?
Have the audacity to show up in your power that you were in when you felt the most successful. If you need to journal your way through that, what proof and evidence is out there that what you're doing is working, even if you're referencing what worked in the past, so that you can be powerful and continue to grow your business.
Ooh.
So step in.
Mic drop. That's right.
To the power when you felt your most powerful.
Yes.
Step into that spot.
Wow.
All right, Christina, what about you?
You want me to follow that? Or you?
I know, you gotta pick the mic up.
You could just give us an amen or something, you know, like amen, Star. That's perfect.
Ditto.
I think it's really cool to self-evaluate your business. You know, I do that once a month in depth of like, where am I winning? Where am I challenged? Where could I have served more? Where am I making the biggest moves? What are my best collaborations? Where are the places that I really dropped the ball, or where did people need more support? And I ask my series of like 20 questions to myself and write it down, and then adjust course. Right. And so I think that a lot of the times we think we're stuck in this mode of like, okay, well, I have to work harder to make more money. But it's the same analogy of like, you're trying to get into a locked door of your house and you're like banging on the door and nobody's home. And you're like, this is my house. Why can't I get into the house? And then you realize you can just sidestep 2 feet and slide open the sliding glass door and walk into the house. And sometimes we miss that other angle if we don't take the time to talk to other people about our business, and we just sit in our head for too long. So don't sit in your head for too long. Take action.
Ooh.
Ooh, I like that in itself, by the way, is we talk about that all the time. Imperfect action is better than no action at all. And that would be my little 2 cents, is just saying that, you know, I talked earlier about when you're at the peak of your business and things are going well, you become too comfortable.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when things start to shift, remember, when you were in your uncomfortable state, to actually get to that level, just kind of bring yourself back there again. Like think about some of those things. What did you have to do? Maybe it was more phone calls. Maybe it was some of the things I think a few of you said, I hate making phone calls, but sometimes you have to go back to those basics, right? When I think about the time that I had some brick and mortar businesses, I was the business owner that was out there like cleaning toilets when I needed to clean toilets, right? Filling those gaps to show that nothing is beneath me.
Yeah.
And so as an entrepreneur, do the same exact thing again. Sometimes you got to just kind of dive in, get your hands dirty in order to see those results.
See, and I'm going to have to go last after all that. I'm going to start going first.
Let's talk about gratitude, Tina.
Right. So my thing, that is my thing. My thing is, and me being the gratitude specialist, everybody, and it's hard because everybody puts you like up here. They're like, oh, Tina is so positive and da 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 da. But then you're like, when you're having a week like I had, you feel like you're letting people down if you're not that positive. So even the gratitude specialist herself can have bad days, okay, or weeks, or months, or maybe even years. But
it's not going to be years, Tina. It's not going to be years.
We got you.
So get back into your morning routine. Open up your gratitude journal, open up your Bible, get an accountability partner, do what Robert said, wake up at 5 a.m., start doing your 20, get into your gratitude, write 3 things that you are grateful for. Paco yesterday said, what is 3 things that you're grateful for? And I'm like, how are you going to use that against me? How are you going to use that against me? That's my life. Yeah. And, and it makes you think, but you got to be, grateful for those things. And, sometimes you got to be grateful for the bad things that are happening too. My little precious little baby girl, she had such bad anxiety when I left her. I couldn't leave the house for too long. And so, not that I would not have her here, because I would love to have her here, but now I can leave and travel again without her being so anxious and having all this thing, and I don't have to feel so guilty for leaving her. So, so I kind of turned that around, but get back into gratitude, get back into that meditation, get back into your Bible, read God is like my best business partner. So, ask God for his help, ask God for his guidance, ask God for, all the things, and he's going to give it to you.
Yeah.
So
wow,
that is
amen
for today. And, if you're watching, put some comments in there. What are some things that's going to help other people or even help me get back into the run of things? What are some of the things that's going to help?
You talked about imposter syndrome earlier, and I just want to kind of piggyback on what you said there, Tina. You're right. When you're the gratitude specialist, right? For me, everyone always knows I talk about 2 major things from stage, books, content, coaching, whatever, and that's mindset and heart set. Mm-hmm. And so when you become like Mr. Positivity or Miss Gratitude, right? Whatever it may be, you feel that you have imposter syndrome when you're in those moments of like a broken state, when you're experiencing trauma, when you're experiencing loss. And so many times, I know when I went through my situation a few years ago, I felt like, how in the world am I worthy to help somebody right now with whatever their situation is when I myself am broken? Yeah. But it is that fine line, right? This switch when it comes to mindset, and you go, wow, this experience actually makes me overqualified, quite frankly, right? It allows me to speak to those that are out there that don't have a voice, those that are actually sitting there watching our podcast and going, I really would love to do something, but I have fear, I have trauma, whatever it may be. Maybe I have a partner that won't support me in this venture. And so I'm just going to sit back in silence, even though my heart tells me I should do this. Yeah. And so we're there for you. Know that every one of us experiences imposter syndrome. And it's just a matter of like connecting with people that are going to like lift you up.
Yes, definitely.
I think we should talk about that next week, about imposter syndrome and how you hit that at different levels and how to overcome those things. I think that's a great topic for people because we go through it all the time.
For next week, Christina has.
It is absolutely true at any stage of your life, right? You're always looking to that person that you want to emulate, or you wish that your business was at their level. 100%.
Yes. So
thanks for being here today, guys.
Hope you guys got a lot of content and value out of it. If you did, make sure you follow, make sure you share, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. We will see you guys next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. You guys have a fantastic week full of gratitude.
Full of gratitude. Talk to you soon. Thank you all.
Bye for now.